NASA once picked up a radio signal so perfect it looked like a deliberate message from deep space. It lasted just 72 seconds. Then it vanished forever. Another experiment heard a roar so loud it should not exist in our universe. It drowned out the entire sky in radio noise that no one can explain. These are real signals and sounds recorded by scientists. Some came from nearby planets, some from distant galaxies, and some from places we cannot even pinpoint. Stay to the end, because number 1 is still the closest thing we have ever heard to a possible alien message. 10. Jupiter's eerie radio choir far beyond our atmosphere. Jupiter is screaming. When NASA converted its radio waves into sound, they heard shrieks, crackles, and ghostly whistles, swirling around the giant planet. These sounds come from charged particles slamming into Jupiter's magnetic field, creating an invisible storm that never ends. If you could listen in space, this gas giant would sound like a haunted orchestra. They are strongest around its powerful polar auroras. The Juno spacecraft recorded crystal clear samples in 2016. 9. The Singing Comet in 2014, the Rosetta spacecraft approached Comet 67P. Before it even arrived, its instruments picked up something bizarre. The comet was singing. The signal was a low, rhythmic magnetic vibration, far below what human ears can hear. Scientists sped it up thousands of times, and suddenly it sounded like an eerie alien chorus. No one fully understands why a frozen rock in space hums with such a strange, organized song. The signal pulses around 40 MHz in frequency. The song was detected months before Rosetta entered orbit. The sound likely comes from charged particles interacting with the comet's environment. 8. The long-delayed echo mystery. In the 1920s, radio operators noticed something impossible. They sent out simple Morse code signals. Seconds later, they heard their own messages echo back, delayed far too long to be normal reflections. Radio waves can bounce off the ionosphere, but not with delays of many seconds. That would require a path longer than the distance to the moon and back. To this day, no single explanation fits every report. The echoes appear, linger for moments, and then vanish into silence. Delays ranged from 1 to 30 seconds. Military and amateur operators later reported similar echoes. Some theories involve trapped waves in plasma around Earth. 7. The Lorimer burst. In 2007, astronomers combing through old telescope data found a single, violent flash. It lasted less than 0.005 of a second. Yet in that instant, it released more energy than the sun emits in days. This became the first discovered fast radio burst, now called the Lorimer burst. The signal came from far outside our galaxy and has never repeated. It was so powerful and so brief that some scientists briefly wondered if it could be artificial. The burst came from billions of light years away. It launched the entire field of fast radio burst research. 6. Tabby's star. In data from the Kepler Space Telescope, one star behaved like nothing astronomers had ever seen. Instead of dimming in a regular pattern like a planet passing in front, this star flickered chaotically. Sometimes it faded by 20%, as if something massive was blocking it. Some people suggested an enormous artificial structure, a swarm of machines built by an advanced civilization. Years of study later, dust seems more likely. But the star still refuses to behave in a simple, predictable way. Discovered by astronomer Tabitha Boyajian and citizen scientists. Observed, dimming events can last for days or weeks. Infrared observations challenge some natural dust explanations. 5. The space roar in 2006, a balloon experiment called Arcade was launched high above Earth. Its mission was simple. Measure faint radio waves from the early universe. Instead, it heard a roar. The entire sky was filled with radio noise, 6 times louder than any model allowed. Not from our galaxy. Not from known galaxies. Just a deafening, unexplained background hum. There is nothing in current physics that should create a roar this strong. Known radio galaxies cannot explain the intensity. Some scientists think unknown populations of objects may be responsible. 4. The Proxima Centauri signal in 2019, a telescope in Australia recorded a thin, focused radio tone. It drifted slowly in frequency, just like a signal from a moving planet would. Its source appeared to line up with Proxima Centauri, the closest star to our Sun. For months, researchers quietly studied it. Was this the first sign of technology beyond Earth? Eventually they decided it was almost certainly human interference. But they never found the exact device that caused it. The tone lasted for several hours during a single observation. It did not repeat on later scans. It remains one of the most intriguing false alarms in radio astronomy. 3. The repeating burst FRB 121,102 most fast radio bursts flash once and never again. FRB 121102 broke that rule. This source has erupted hundreds of times, each burst a split second long, each one incredibly bright. The signals come from a tiny, distant, dwarf galaxy. Sometimes the bursts cluster in rapid storms. Other times the source goes quiet for weeks. Whatever sits in that galaxy behaves like no known natural object we have ever observed. Leading theories involve a highly magnetized neutron star. 2. LGM-1, the first pulsar. In 1967, a young researcher named Jocelyn Bell noticed a strange pattern in her telescope charts. Tiny spikes appeared at perfectly regular intervals. One pulse every 1.3 seconds. Over and over, all night long. The timing was so precise that the team jokingly labeled it LGM-1, short for Little Green Men. It turned out to be the first known pulsar, a rapidly spinning neutron star. The signal was natural, but for a moment, it looked exactly like a beacon. The discovery opened up an entirely new field of astrophysics. 1. The WOW signal. On a quiet night in 1977, a radio telescope in Ohio was scanning the sky. For exactly 72 seconds, it heard a narrow, powerful signal at a frequency long associated with hydrogen, the most common element in the universe. Astronomer Jerry Eman circled the numbers on the printout and wrote one word beside them in amazement. Wow! The signal never repeated. It did not match any known satellite, planet, or natural source. To this day, no one can say for sure what created it. It remains the strongest candidate for an artificial signal from space. You have just traveled through 10 of the strangest signals and sounds ever heard from space. From the singing of distant comets to the deafening space roar and the haunting perfection of the WOW signal, these mysteries push the limits of what we know about the universe. Did any of these make you rethink the possibility of life beyond Earth? Which signal do you think is most likely to be artificial? If you could reobserve only one of them, which would you choose? Do you believe the WOW signal will ever repeat? If this journey into the unknown fascinated you, tap like and subscribe to help us explore more cosmic mysteries. Next time, we dive into the most terrifying planets ever discovered, including worlds made of diamond and planets where it rains molten glass.